Hello everyone, it is Horror Big Gamer here, and
his brother Colin. We are in a reaction video this time. A couple days ago, we did a video on Horror Big Gamer's main channel. What's that one called?
my brother was caught by Siren Head.
So make sure you go check that one out. That one's gonna be a viral video if you watch it. Trust me. Make sure you like that video. That way, more people will be able to watch it. Okay, so what's going on here, Ryden? What are we doing?
So today, we are going to be learning how sugar is made, and we're going to be reacting to it too.
Awesome.
Are you ready for this, Colin?
Yes, let's watch the video. Here we go.
Alright, let's do it. Yep, we are. We certainly are.
These machines harvest the cane by cutting it at the base. The heavier lengths of cane drop.
I already have something to say. I didn't know that. Oh yeah, well, sugar cane obviously, but I didn't know that they harvested it like that. Like, it almost looks like a tiller, doesn't it?
It does.
Look, that looks like a tiller, like this, like that looks like something. That looks like something that you would use to like drill into the ground, wouldn't it?
It does.
Like it's like a tiller.
Help you to make a hole in the ground.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming in this machine right here, they're trying to reach under the crop, and then
So that they can get out the entirety of the crop.
right.
All right.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming.
Okay.
That's pretty interesting, though, isn't it? All right, let's continue.
The heavier lengths of cane drop into the base of a conveyor, which feeds them into the transport bin that follows alongside. At the mill, trucks empty their load onto a receiving table. It feeds a belt conveyor that takes the cane through two separate washes.
So they have to wash the sugar cane? Like they have to like what it just said. They have to like wash it and like it goes through a whole bunch of different processes. That's like really interesting, isn't it?
I mean, I'd assume that it takes a while for the crop to grow, right? So there's rain that comes down. There's insects. There's all this stuff. All this from coming from the outside and can damage or harm the crop. So I guess this is a way to make sure that all the crops are healthy.
Yes.
I'd assume so, right?
Yes.
All right,
Let's continue.
The cane must be as clean as possible for extracting the juice. But first, the cane's hard structure is broken down inside this crusher, where rotating hammers break the cane into small pieces. A conveyor loads it into a milling tandem, designed to extract the sweet juice from the crushed cane.
You know what's pretty cool though? It's pretty cool how like these big factories, like there's huge factories like just for this, like where it's like all ground up and then it like goes through like all these different systems. It's kind of cool, isn't it?
It is really
It's kind of cool how like all this works. And what's even cooler is that most of it is automated.
That's right. There's huge machines at these places that can control the entire process of starting from the sugar cane and turning it into what we eat, which is really cool. As you can see right here, they're starting to process it and cut it up, right?
Yeah.
Is that what they're doing?
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going.
They're starting. Started the process. Right, bro, yeah.
Cane. In this milling tandem, the cane passes through a series of 5 or more consecutive mills. Large cylinders compress the cane fiber. The juice pours out of the milling tandem and diverts into a channel away from the bagasse, the dry pulp that remains after extracting the juice.
Yeah, Colin?
We get the sugar from the juice then?
Yes, apparently. And then the like whatever what the leftover stuff is, like the wax or I don't know what it'd be considered, like the dry material is like what they called it. But they could probably still use that for other things.
Right.
It's okay. They can probably still use that for like they could like they could like recycle that material and like make it something else. I don't know what they could do. They might explain that in this video, but yeah, let's find out.
A worker supervises the operation at each of the mills. A vat collects the juice that flows from the top and bottom of them.
You know what this kind of reminds me of? I've seen videos where honey is like extracted and stuff. This kind of reminds me of that, because in one of the videos, in like those like huge extractors, all the honey will pour out into like a tube like this. It kind of reminds me of this. Like, what does this remind you of, Colin?
This reminds me of how in factories and stuff, how they make hot dogs, actually.
Hot dogs?
How they start it in the entire process. They have to cut it up. They put all this extra stuff into it. That's what this reminds me of. Like this right here with the liquid. I don't know.
That's really interesting, though. I like how you thought of that.
Thank you.
Like, making hot dogs. Should we react to that?
Maybe in the next video.
Yeah, we should probably react to that soon. But let's continue.
The mills. Now that the juice is extracted from the sugar cane, it's time to process it. However, before it's turned into sugar crystals, a sample goes through a series of tests at the sugar mill's laboratory. They add a thickener that binds to impurities in the juice, and then filter it to make it clear and clean. Then it's poured into a polarimeter, a machine that measures the concentration of sugar. The juice from the mills now falls through this 10-meter high tower as sulfur dioxide vapors rise through it. This process, known as sulfitation, bleaches the juice. Then it flows through a device that measures its pH level.
Oh, okay. I was just about to ask this question, but they just explained it. Like, why would you need to bleach the juice? It's because of the pH levels. Like, have you ever learned about that in school and stuff?
Yes, I have. About the acidity
of the
basic,
material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, what else? Look at this. If you didn't know what this was, this almost looks like underground, kind of like mud or like dirt, like.
I think it looks like clay.
Or clay. That's a good that looks like clay. I could see why it looks weird though, doesn't it? Like, imagine like you took a picture of this and posted it, and like you just told people to guess what it was. They probably would have never guessed.
Never guessed it.
Like that. It was in like the process of making sugar. That's really weird though, isn't it?
It's very interesting. That's what we eat every single day.
Alright, let's continue.
While at a separate vat, workers add powdered lime to water, preparing a solution to which they will then add the juice.
And I'm assuming this has part to do with what gives the sugar, like, this is like what gives the sugar like the looks that it does, like that white powder, or like that, like that like white, like crystally, like, you know what I'm talking about. I don't know how to explain it really well, but you know what I mean. Like that powder that they're adding into it, and then like, they pour the juice into it and stuff. I don't know. We gotta speed up the video.
An agitator mixes the cane juice and lime solution for about 6 hours to complete a process called alkalization. It regulates the juice's pH level and helps clarify it. In reaction to the lime, the juice's color changes from brown to yellow. Next, the juice goes into these clarifier tanks. It takes over 2 hours for the juice to settle and for the impurities to fall to the bottom of the tank. A sample taken from the tank shows how the sludge collects at the bottom, while the clarified juice collects at the top. There's still quite a way to go before it's transformed into the stuff that goes into your tea.
Or ice cream.
Workers filter the residue, known as mud, from the clarifier tanks to extract any remaining sugar. There's no waste here. The mud will fertilize the cane fields, and the bagasse left over will be burned as fuel. The clarified juice collected from the clarifier tanks now boils in a series of evaporators. This brings the concentration of the sugar in the juice up from 15% to 60%. Then the juice collects.
Now, what I really have to ask here is, if it only brings it up like 1%, like how big of a difference is that?
1% is not 1%. It's 50% to 60%.
I thought it said 15 to 16.
No, 60.
It's 60? Okay, I didn't hear that right then. Let's go on. I was like confused there. All right. Fans, it's not what you want to hear.
In 15-ton tanks to clarify even more. Any sediment left in the juice floats to the top. A rotating paddle skims this residue off to the sides of the tank. These tanks produce a type of syrup that goes on for still more processing. Workers now pour sucrose crystals suspended in alcohol into the syrup. This milky solution binds to the sugar present in the syrup and helps draw it out. Next, it all boils in large vacuum pans, forming sugar crystals. As the water in the syrup boils away, workers regularly check to see how the sugar is crystallizing. The goal? To produce a thick crystallized paste known...
I'm not gonna lie, that looks kind of good. It looks like honey, kind of, doesn't it? It looks kind of good.
Yeah, so it does look like honey. It looks exactly like honey, actually. If I look at it right now, I'd assume it's honey. Now, I know they have to, like they said, they're trying to make it crystallized, which means smaller molecules, right? So they need to make it smaller. They need to extract some of the materials from this, which is why it's all looks like honey, and make it more crystallized into single pieces of sugar.
Like the sugar that we all know, the white sugar, have you ever, I have a question for you. Oh wait, never mind. I'll ask you that later, okay? Okay, yeah, let's continue. Break.
As Masquite. It then goes into a high-speed centrifugal machine to remove the sugar crystals from the uncrystallized syrup. Inside, the sugar spins at 1,200 revolutions per minute. This action draws the molasses to the outer shell of the machine, while the crystals remain in the inner basket. Sprays of water wash the crystals. Then the water is drawn out, so only the crystals remain. This centrifuge draws out moisture from the sugar, just like a washing machine on spin cycle dries your clothes.
Now this is the part where everything starts to like come together. That really looks like sugar now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so I actually used a centrifuge in my biology class with DNA, and it helped me to be able to extract the DNA from the blood, actually. So I have experience with stuff like this, so I think it's really cool that you can use it in a variety of ways. Obviously, in this case, starting from sugarcane
and going on to what was popularly, it's like known as like sugar crystals.
Yeah, sugar crystal stuff that's in the packets at store. Is this, which is pretty cool.
All right, Colin. So how do you think this will unwind?
I think they gotta,
because we'll get onto this. It will say this a little bit later in the video, but there are different kinds of like sugar crystals and stuff. We'll get onto it, but
watch it.
Yep.
Next, a conveyor belt carries the sugar crystals out of the centrifuge. This mill produces raw sugar, which has more molasses and is unbleached, and plantation white sugar, which has less molasses and is bleached a brilliant white.
So, in my opinion, I think that the bleached sugar is what's more popularly, like, it's like what's well known, because most people are like used to this like white sugar, not the raw sugar that has like a slight brown tint to it. They're more like people, like, it's more popular. Like the white bleach is like more popular, if you know what I mean. Like, do you have anything to add on to this, Con? All right,
I agree.
Let's finish off this video.
The sugar on the conveyor now goes into a large dryer. Hot air blows into this dryer to bring the sugar's humidity level down to 0.02%. That's standard for table sugar. The dried sugar pours out from the dryer into a bag on a scale. It's full when it weighs in at 1,000 kilos. A hoist then carries the bags to a platform at the far end of the packing facility. At 3,000 kilos, that is a heavy load. It lowers each bag over a chute that leads to the factory's main floor. Workers carefully open each bag in turn and pour out the sugar directly into the chute. It feeds an automated packaging
That's a lot of
machine,
sugar.
which fills a series of 2-kilo plastic bags, seals them, and separates them. This packing facility produces 200,000 bags every day. That means processing 400 tons of white sugar daily.
Now that, my friends, is a lot of sugar, right?
Ton of sugar. They're making lots of money doing what they're doing.
Oh yeah, and also, yeah, what else? They're making a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
What else?
Sugar. A lot of sugar.
A lot of sugar, yeah.
What else?
A lot of food, technically, because a lot of food has sugar in it.
It's true.
So, like, I wonder how it works. Do, like companies, like, let's say Reese's, do they buy sugar from those companies to put into their candies? Like, how does that work?
It's the only other way. If they don't make their own, that's the only other way. It's from these large
companies.
Large companies that make their own sugar.
Well, yeah. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell, set it to all. And we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Peace.